Okay, hi folks. We've got Chloé Messdaghi joining us. Hi, Chloé.
Hello, hello.
Hey Chloe,
Whereabouts in the
welcome
world are
to the
you?
call.
I'm in San Francisco.
Wow, awesome. I wish I was. But enough about me. If you would be so kind, Chloé, could you please introduce yourself and let us know who you are
Sure,
and what you do?
sure. So my name is Chloé Messdaghi. I'm the VP of Strategy at Point 3 Security, also co-founder of WOSEC. I believe you've heard from Melissa Miller. She's also on the team, and you're
Yep,
going to be hearing Tanya Jenka soon. She's one of the co-founders.
we are.
Um, Also the founder of Women Hackers as well.
Excellent. So, can you give us a little bit of a flavour of the work that you're involved in, the kind of stuff that fills your time?
Sure, sure. So I guess a lot of the talks I do have a lot to do with cognitive science. So, like, basically, what parts of our brains are stimulated. So, I tend to do a lot of that type of work when it comes to gamification, and how to like develop your red team, blue team, and purple teams. Other than that, what I tend to do is also try to increase the number of women in bug bounty. I
Cool.
used to work for a bug crowd, and I realized that, like, oh, there's probably less than 1% of women that participate in bug bounty. So I've been trying to get more women in it. Also pushing out for safe harbor as well. And other than that, that's pretty much it, I would say. And just running Women Hackers, our online community.
All right, that sounds really good. It sounds absolutely fantastic, actually. Can you share with us the experiences you're having around women in infosec and maybe
Sure.
some of the challenges and really and more importantly some of the successes that you're finding with it? It's certainly
Sure.
a really important thing.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, there was a moment where I almost left InfoSec, and it was because I was dealing with discrimination, sexual like harassment, of course, but also I was assaulted at one of the conferences, and
Shit.
so I was like, why should I be here if no one wants to listen to me, no one wants to see me, and they don't want to work on their issues for including me? And then I went to a conference called Day of Security, which had like 200 plus women in a room. And it was the first time ever that I was around women because, believe it or not, people, this is scary to know, but I did know that InfoSec was very active on Twitter. So I didn't know that there was all these online communities and everything. So I just felt really isolated and alone. And so basically I went to this conference, and when I left, I suddenly realized I don't want to give up yet.
Good.
So I think right when I got home, I could not sleep. Instead, what I did is I came up with a list of things of what I want to change within the next year or two. So one of those was actually writing a talk about how to fix the diversity gap, which used cognitive science, explaining how we like judge each other and the biases that come around with it. So then to give people a little bit of understanding how we can actually approach this by knowing how our brain functions. And then I submitted that talk for the first time ever to like a different cons and whatnot. And then I think by noon, I also had ideas of creating a virtual community of women that hack at all levels. Because the other thing is, you don't know where to start usually. Like
Mm.
I don't know where to start as a pen tester. So how do I find that community? But also where do I find somewhere where I don't feel isolated? So next time when we go to conferences, sometimes it's overwhelming. There's a lot of like men in there and it's intimidating. And so basically knowing ahead of time who is another person who's like you that's also going to be attending, that really helps a lot. It reduces like the safety concerns one has. So yeah, and then within a year, I met Tanya, and Tanya was like, "I have this idea. I want to create chapters all over the world." So WOSEC was born, and then Women Hackers was created in May of this year, and we have almost, I think, 800 participants
Cool.
in it. And we do like car hacking, we do like all different types of like resources. And we right now I've partnered up with Alyssa Herrera, and we are starting a bug bounty team of women from all levels, and we have about, I think, 120 now. So it's very exciting stuff on the road.
That sounds fantastic. So the work that you're doing, um, the togetherness, I guess, that you've developed with your female peers within the industry. How are you finding that then embedding and transcending itself into mainstream infosec society? Are you meeting resistance? Are you getting a lot of acceptance, collaboration? Are people welcoming in it? I'm kind of hoping the answer is yes, but what is the
Um,
answer?
oh my god. Actually, when I was really nervous about like starting Women Hackers, I kind of delayed it because I was worried about the trolling and like the basically what people would react to. But it's been really great. A lot of guys actually have been showing like support by saying, "Hey, Chloe, I have this great idea. I want to do a workshop for you guys. Can I do a workshop?" I'm like, "Yeah." So if anyone listening, if you want to do a workshop for women hackers, anything, we would love it. And that's it's been very supportive, I would say, for sure. But I do get a couple of trolls that try to register to join women hackers. But other than that, it's not too bad at all.
That sounds good.
So Mike, sorry, I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask a question. So it's also maybe perhaps coming down back to the conferences, and that I've noticed there seems to be certain regions that have more issues than others. It's not saying other regions don't. Do you think some regions have exactly like that, more of an issue, more of a culture around females and infosec and trolling and that, more so
Yeah.
than others?
So one of my good friends, Jane Franklin, I was helping her out with her research. She got over 2,000 women from around the world to basically fill out a survey about what it's like to attend conferences. Have they experienced anything? I don't know the results of it, but I remember talking with her about what has she seen so far during the process,
I think
and
she's
she was,
publishing her findings in the next month or so.
yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be really good.
Yeah, and one of the things we were talking about was most of the cases that we hear about conferences, it's a lot of times it's actually in the US. But the other thing is they tend to be more on the trade show front. So like RSA conference, Black Hat, those are the ones I would say are the biggest concerns. And the reason for that is that you're going to get a lot more people that are drinking. Usually, there's a lot more parties, and most of the things that when people are facing these situations is usually when people have been drinking. I remember this year when I was at Black Hat, and this is also a very common situation. Recently, we were talking about on Women Hackers was that we were being like guys would come up and asking us, "Can you get me this drink or can you get me this?" Because they thought that we were waitresses.
Yeah, that's
So
not cool.
Oh,
I had
Did
like
they miss the giant geek nerd badge that you have to wear to
right.
get to those
So
events?
so we had an
So
idea of
ignorant.
like making a badge or a T-shirt saying I'm not a waitress. So when attending these events, we would have it on. But yeah, like some of us we were dressed to the T's. We had like high heels and like a long dress, and they still thought we were waitresses. So yeah.
oh, no, that's pretty terrible.
That explains why my drink tasted like urine.
And so one other thing, I've always seen around women and infosecurity, and that I've seen a lot of advocating to get more women involved, and I'm fully on board with that. But are we sometimes not overlooking some of the root causes? So by this, I mean if you go to a ComSci course, by and large, the vast majority of people in there are white males. So perhaps should we not be looking at a bit lower down, like at the school level?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think that we should start as early as possible. I mean, the cool thing is that recently the Girl Scouts they now have a cybersecurity badge, which is really cute.
Oh wow.
And that's a step forward. But there's a lot of organizations, especially in the Bay Area, and I'm assuming also in London and other places, where they try to recruit kids into like wanting to learn about cybersecurity. Um, and I've done some partnerships with some of the organizations to try to get kids to know about hacking is something that they could do. And that's the issue. I feel like there's not enough of that around them. I feel like if they knew, like, oh, wait, hacking could be a
Yeah.
career. Wait, what? this is fantastic. I want to get into this because it feels so amazing and empowering when you can break something or find something. And so I think starting at a young age is really important, but
Yeah.
also it's important for us to look at the system right now. So the situation, like you were mentioning earlier, is that majority of the time it's white males in a room,
Yeah.
and we need to change that. And by changing that, we also need to share a little bit about awareness. And even when we do awareness, it needs to be applied. There are some good number of influencers out there that are males in InfoSec, and they say they support women, but I've also heard cases of them doing, sexually assaulting them, to harassment, to discrimination. And so I feel like we need to really look at ourselves and see what are we doing that is feeding this problem,
Yeah.
and how can we fix it ourselves.
I couldn't agree more. And Sean's point's really, really valid, I think, because it's something that I've been thinking about a lot in the last year, about the issue, or the notion, I guess, that we seem to be attempting to tackle the symptom rather than the cause.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where Sean was going with that point.
Yeah,
And it is
exactly.
right. It's right that we get in really early doors in children's development, and in terms of getting them to understand what they're going to try and enjoy in their future, and have those conversations with them and develop them that
Yeah.
way. But it's equally important not to just say, well, when women are adults, it's too late now and they're out of reach. And I think
Yeah.
we
Oh,
can't
no.
we can't look at it that way. It's a holistic thing that we've got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get comments that like women should be in the kitchen, they should
Yeah.
stop complaining, that there are cases of being attacked at a conference is they just want attention, they're being dramatic. These are very common responses usually to hear. I've
Yeah.
actually had guys DM me, believe it or not, saying you should be more focused on getting married and having kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
That just
those are
seems
fun.
so ridiculous in this day and age.
It seems so 19th century.
Right?
It's just unbelievable,
Yeah.
and so not indicative of the community or the profession that I want to be associated with.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. But the good news is you don't get too many of those. Most of the people I've met, they've been very supportive, and they always ask like, how can I help? How can I help the cause? And that is fantastic to hear. And I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So Chloe, you're very involved in the causes that you care about, and I think the causes that we all care about, to be honest. And anybody that doesn't care about the causes you care about can get off this conference right now, quite frankly. But what about reach? I mean, Sean alluded to it kind of globally. What's it like? So the question, I guess, really is, what support do you feel you get that's kind of not just the community? So are there any institutions or organizations
Right.
that you've got a fallback to, or that give you, proactive support, either financially or PR or encouragement? Do you have that, or or are you kind of like fighting a battle inside your own network?
It's not really fighting a battle in my own network. The thing is like, so before I joined InfoSec, I was in the humanitarian space, and startup and tech kind of field. So a lot of people are not aware of these issues. So I've been posting on LinkedIn because, believe it or not, there's a lot of people on LinkedIn, and that's how you get a message across
Yeah.
all industries. One of the things I do see is that a lot of times when it's like we're sharing things on Twitter, we should also be sharing it elsewhere too. And I think more and more people need to be more aware of and take InfoSec a lot more seriously. For example, yesterday I was getting boba, also known as tapioca drinks. Yes, they're delicious. Anyway, and some people they were paying with their, with their iPhone and whatnot, but they don't even have a PIN number when scanning. And I turned to my friend, I'm like, wait, are you serious? This is still happening? And they're like, yeah, it's so common. I'm like, this is too much. So it's still having those talks with people outside of InfoSec of like 2FA and what is a password manager, a VPN. So I think the more we get other industries to be more cognizant of it, the more and more funds we can get, and especially get them to stand by our sides when it comes to the causes that we're trying to work forward.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like safe harbor. That's going to be like the thing that I'm going to be really focusing next year on.
Well, tell us more about that, Chloe, if you don't mind. It sounds like privacy and GDPR and that kind of stuff, and that's something I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah, so I was at B-Sides London this year giving a talk about, safe harbor and what to expect during Brexit. Just kidding. I did not talk about Brexit at all because I'm not even going to touch that.
That's been the first mention.
Yeah.
First mention of Brexit. That's it. Sorry, you're going to have to leave now, Chloe.
Thoughts.
Just kidding. We carry on.
But about safe harbor, which is basically, the companies are opening the doors to hackers to submit vulnerabilities and whatnot, but there also has to be some sort of protection also with that. So if I'm reporting something that's in the scope, I want to be protected too. So trying to get companies to be more aware of this, and I know the US government has been working a lot on trying to push safe harbor semi-forward. But I think it's super important because about 60% of us, we don't submit anything because we're scared. We're scared of being prosecuted. And this was a statistic that Amit El-Azhari found when she was researching about safe harbor. And so I think it's really important for us to start thinking about that perspective for sure.
Absolutely. So one of the things I just want to come back to your example of the iPhone, because it kind of reminded me of the scenario. I forgot which thing it was in the White House where he's typing 0000 on his phone. And do you think that it has an impact somewhat? Because I mean, that's a role model for many people.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm still recovering that cold a little bit, but yeah, this bug killed me this week. But
it was Kanye, wasn't it?
It was Kanye.
It's just been bugging me that it was Kanye doing his voicemail. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely brought attention to like, wait, don't be stupid. Don't do a PIN 000. But it might change them to be like, all right, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 now. So,
I feel like he had a PIN,
Right, exactly.
It's like it may not have been the best one and easy to crack, but come on, but it's leadership by example, right? How many people saw that and then now have their PIN as 6 zeros, right?
It's true. And sometimes what I do is I try to, share as much as I can about phishing, for example. And so I will send emails to my close friends and family to test them out, to get them always on top of things, on their toes. And so, it's a lot of fun. Test out your family and friends, see the reaction. You'll get some mixed reviews. I guarantee it.
Right. Sounds brilliant. All right. So Chloe, we've got a couple of minutes left and it's been absolutely awesome speaking to you.
Thank you.
Just, you've alluded to it already, but just give us a little bit of a look into the future for you and the stuff that you're doing and where you'd like to see change, maybe improvements and things like that in the world. Give us a little bit of that insight, please.
Okay. For those that are listening, if you're not part of Women Hackers, if you consider yourself as a woman or non-binary, really come join us. We're a really good community, safe, fun, supportive. Some people have found jobs on it, but there's really great workshops. So even if you identify as a man, you can always do a workshop for us. The more knowledge, the better. And it really helps everyone in the community in the end, because we're trying to build trust among all people here. And that's the thing that we're missing in InfoSec, I feel like, is trusting each other, even though our field is not to trust each other. But we should start trusting each other a little bit.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's always open. And if you are any woman out there that around the world, if you're looking for a WOSEC chapter, feel free to reach out to us. We will let you know which one is close by. But if you want to start your own, also contact me and we can get you set up. It doesn't take too much work at all. Other than that, I'm going to be working on later this year or early next year on a survey that's going to be talking a little bit about assaults and sexual harassment and also discrimination. And that's going to be going around. And I hope if you see this link, please share it. It's for everyone to participate. And I'm hoping that research will really help us see a little bit more of an inside view of what's really happening, because a lot of the cases are not reported. So that's the other one. Other than that, I'm going to be at B-Sides SF talking about mental health, hopefully with mental health hackers. And I hope to see people there. We're going to be diving into the brain and what are the best strategies on various different topics. Other than that, if you are interested in going to Bug Bunny and you identify as a woman, reach out to me. You can join anytime. It's all levels. And I would love to have you on board.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, two things. A, we wish you every success.
Thank you.
And B, if we and the bear farmers and anybody that's been involved in anything we've done over the past nearly 24 hours, if we can help in any way, then please reach out and let us know.
Deal. Will do. Thank you guys for having me. It was excellent to be here. And everyone donate EFF and mental health hackers. We need them in the community. We need them so badly.
And we need your money. So thank you very much indeed, Chloe. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.